Hello again, it's Breck Porter, editor of the Police News, and once again we're at the 61st Street Diner in Galveston on Saturday, which is Pancake and Politics Day at the diner. Today I have the opportunity to visit with Michael Truncale from Beaumont, who is the Republican candidate for Congress in the 14th District. Good morning, Mr. Truncale. Thank you for coming in and consenting to visit with us. And just to get things started, let me ask you why you decided to run for this office.
Well, Breck, first of all, thank you for inviting me to come here today. It's good to be with the people here in Galveston County at your diner, and I want you to know why I am running for Congress. I'm running for Congress because Washington is broken. Government is too big and it exercises too much control over our lives. We face a lot of challenges today in America, but among those challenges we are facing loss of jobs caused by excessive regulations, causing jobs to be exported overseas. We're facing the threat of higher taxes that will kill jobs, kill our economic growth and prosperity. And we must repeal Obamacare. There are several things in play here that we know. First, we know that with high taxes, people hold their money, they don't invest, they're afraid to spend money, and that hurts our economic recovery. We know that spending is way out of control. That's why I am in favor of a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution. I stand for a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution because I do not trust Congress or any future Congress to rein in spending without it. And I know that excessive spending is going to hurt our children, it's going to hurt our economy, and it's going to destabilize our currency. See, these are some things that I know because I have a degree in economics, I have an MBA, I studied economics at the graduate level with Dick Armey, a free market economist. And I know that I was a financial analyst for a while in the Dallas area before I came back home to this district. I'm from this congressional district 14, born here, lived here most of my life. But I know that if we don't rein in spending, we're going to destroy our economy and we will be on the road to becoming the national grease. Now, with Obamacare being a threat to citizens, let me tell you why it's a problem. Obamacare is something we simply cannot afford. It's going to create 111 bureaucracies and cost us trillions of dollars. But most of all, if Obamacare is allowed to stand, there are no limits to what the federal government can do to you. In fact, under Obamacare, we're going to hurt physicians, but most importantly, we're going to hurt patients. And we're going to have the government involved in your health care decisions. And I think that's wrong. Government does not have that right. There is not a right for government to tell people what kind of insurance they're to buy. That's why I say if Obamacare is allowed to stand, there are no limits to what the federal government can do to you. So we must repeal Obamacare. We must get spending under control. We must keep taxes low and fair. We learned when President Reagan was in office that when taxes are low, the economy is stimulated, and there's actually more revenue going to the federal coffers, which helps us reduce debt. So these are some things that we must do, and these are some of the reasons why I'm running for the United States Congress.
You know, I like to vote from somebody that is kind of a hometown guy, so to speak. We all like to stay close to our neighbors, and I know you're from Beaumont, born and raised in Beaumont, and a lifelong citizen of Jefferson County. Tell us a little bit about your growing up years, your family, your education, and your hometown stuff from Beaumont.
Well, thank you, Brett. First, my grandfather came to Jefferson County in 1911, and he worked at the Texaco refinery for 70 cents a day. Now, that was pretty rough living back then. but he was able to experience the American dream. You see, he started a small little business, a small grocery store, and then he got some rental properties, and he was able to experience the American dream. You see, he knew the American dream, which, Breck, I know you know, is that everyone is entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not life, liberty, and the redistribution of wealth. And my grandmother, who had a second-grade education, taught me and all of her grandchildren, you're not entitled to anything on this planet unless you work for it. So see, those are some of the values that I have, and I see us moving in a direction where people are looking to the government to provide all things for them. And that's what's causing us to have this massive trillion-dollar debt. You know, when I started this campaign, Breck, we were at 14 trillion, now 15 trillion in debt, and moving to 16 trillion and beyond. It must stop. Now, you wanted to know more about my background. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, in my hand. My parents were educators. My mom was a school teacher, my dad was a music teacher, and I grew up in Beaumont. I did go to Lamar University, got a degree in economics, went to the University of North Texas, got an MBA in banking and finance, worked as a financial analyst. While in Denton, I met my wife, Denise, of more than 30 years, and she worked 3 jobs to put me through the SMU School of Law. And I came back home to this district, came back to Beaumont, and worked as a defense attorney representing doctors and small businesses in the petrochemical industry. So I'm aware of issues affecting those companies and businesses. I know what it takes to get people back to work. The companies I represent, the small businesses I represent, are burdened with excessive regulation. And this is sending jobs overseas. This is causing people not to hire more employees. While Obamacare alone is going to hurt, small businesses and their ability to hire more people. But these are things that I know. And I'm also pleased to tell you that in terms of my background, that we have 2 children. We have a 23-year-old daughter, Lacey, who is a nurse. She's married to a Beaumont guy named Mark Mabry, good guy, love my son-in-law. And I have a daughter, Lauren, who lives on Galveston Island. She's a student at UTMB in Galveston. So we've got a wonderful family, and I'm very proud of my family. And a great set of roots, if you will, right here in this congressional district.
You know, everybody's been watching the Republican debates. How can you not watch the Republican debates? It seems like it's a weekly continuing series on television. And it seems to be now the top contenders are arguing about who's the most conservative. I'm conservative, I'm more conservative, I'm ultra-conservative, I'm only moderately conservative. Tell us about your conservatism.
My conservatism is lifelong. As I mentioned, my family values led me to believe in our free enterprise system. And when I was a student at Lamar University, I was president of an organization called Students for Free Enterprise. That was back in the 1970s. Now that was before we had a Tea Party. That was before we had a viable Republican Party in this part of Texas. But then I'm a conservative by conviction, not of convenience. I'm lifelong conservative Republican. I was Republican in this district before Republican was cool. In fact, I remember the first time I voted. We didn't get to vote in the gym where the Democrats voted. We voted in the girls' locker room. That's how bad it was. But I stayed with it. When 1984, Denise and I attended the Republican convention in Dallas, where Ronald Reagan took his second term, and what a wonderful event that was. And when we came back to Beaumont, I was a Republican. And people told me, you should not be a Republican, Michael. The easy thing to do would be to go along, become a Democrat. I said, no way. I'm a conservative, and there's no way I will be a Democrat. I am a Republican by choice, by conviction. And what I did, I worked as a precinct chair. I volunteered. We built the Republican Party. I say we, a lot of us, worked together to build the Republican Party. I've been a precinct chair. I'm on the state Republican Executive Committee, and in 2008 I was a delegate to the National Convention. And through all these efforts, these 26 years since I returned home to this district, we've gone from being the party of no candidates and no elected officials to now the Republican Party is the dominant political force in Southeast Texas. And from the Sabine River all the way to the Houston area and Galveston, Brazoria County, Jefferson County, the Republican Party is the primary party. And it's because of many of us who've had these lifelong conservative Republican values, who've been working hard, and we've achieved a great deal of success.
Tell us geographically about District 14. If you live where do you have to live to vote for Michael Truncale?
Well, I live in the district, and the district consists of all of Jefferson County, all of Galveston County, and a good portion, kind of the southern part, of Brazoria County. And that makes a very nice district because it's a port district. It's a coastal district. And maintaining our ports is something that is a federal responsibility. And as a result of that, we all have that concern to fight for our ports. It's also an area of the petrochemical industry. And we have some common interests there throughout the district that I will be fighting for. You see, I'm not a politician. I've never run for political office before. I'm just a citizen. I'm a citizen taxpayer. And I think that it's time that we send someone who's a citizen taxpayer to Washington, not another politician. We need someone of action, not words. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Case in point, I was the only congressional candidate at a meeting of the Wharfs Board here in Galveston County, where they agreed to an $800 million private investment in developing Pelican Island and Texas City with a new rail system that's going to come in and help us export coal to countries all over the world, create wealth for Galveston County. I was the only congressional candidate there. I was the only congressional candidate to participate in a recent March for Life, ecumenical March for Life. And I was the only congressional candidate invited to attend a meeting with Senator John Cornyn and the leaders of TransCanada. These are the folks who want to put in the Keystone XL pipeline company, and area refinery leaders, because we are trying to find a way to salvage that project so we can have a safe, efficient, and clean way of bringing 700,000 barrels of crude to this congressional district every day so that we can continue to have jobs. I believe we must seek energy independence. That's why this congressional district is a good district, because energy is a big part of this district. From the early days of Spindletop to what we hope will be the Keystone Pipeline, to drilling onshore and offshore, to developing shale gas that can help our refineries run more efficiently. And energy is a very important part of why I want to run for Congress.
You made a comment that you live in the district. Now, if I understand correctly, you don't have to live in the district to run for a congressional district. You can live anywhere and run in District 14. I know there's a lot of you guys running for this same seat. You and how many? I know, and there's some that don't live in the district. I understand. How many do and don't?
Well, there are a total of 10. And I understand that a couple of the candidates do not live in the district, but I do live in the district, and I will be able to vote for myself. I have a daughter here on the island, so I've lived in this district virtually all my life. I've experienced hurricanes, from Rita and Hurricane Ike most recently, but going back to the earliest days of my childhood. When I was a kid, my parents used to bring me to the seawall. Remember the old Jack Tar Hotel? Well, I used to swim in that pool. You may remember the old bridge there. I used to, when I was a Boy Scout, we used to camp outside of Sierra. So This district's been a part of my life, all of my life, and I do live in the district. I've been a community leader in this district. I've been a church leader. I have been appointed by Senators Cornyn and Senator Hutchison to the Federal Judicial Selection Committee because of my conservative views on courts. I do not believe that judges should legislate from the bench. And really overlook the plain meaning of the United States Constitution. That's how we've gotten into a lot of trouble now. That's why government has gotten too big. Why? We've forgotten about the 10th Amendment, which means that power is to be retained by the people and by the states, and that the people and the states don't exist for the furtherance of the federal government. That's not the way it is at all. And let me assure you that this recent assault on the Catholic Church is something that people of all faiths should be concerned about. And I'm talking about the most recent requirements of the Obama administration and the bureaucrats in Washington regarding contraceptives, to require Catholics to purchase contraception. That's an assault. Why? Because now you have government telling religion what to do. And that's a serious matter. It's the same with the Second Amendment. I believe in Second Amendment rights. And once you start chiseling away the Second Amendment rights, once you start chiseling away the First Amendment rights with regard to religion, then all of our liberties are at risk. See, I believe that the three most important words in the United States Constitution can be found in the preamble. Those words are, "We the people." And the problem we have with politicians today and bureaucrats is that they've forgotten about we the people. That's why I'm running. I'm a citizen taxpayer, and I think it's important that we send a citizen taxpayer to Washington, not just another politician. I'm not some guy who's been working up the ranks in various political positions, looking around for a congressional district in which to run. I live in this district. I've been a part of this district. I've been a university regent appointed by Governor Perry to the Texas State University system. That includes several institutions in this district. Lamar University, the Lamar Institute of Technology, Lamar State College, Fort Oakland, also Sam Houston State University and Texas State. And there are a lot of graduates from these schools in this congressional district. Education is something that's important to me. As I mentioned, my parents were educators, and I've been a university regent, and I know how important it is to families to be able to send their kids to good schools and to get a good education. So that's something that's going to be important to me.
Let's touch on one subject just to make it clear to voters, because there's a redistricting issue going on now that has primary election date delayed, and first one thing another. And maybe some people don't know that congressional districts are different from state legislative and state house districts. The redistricting issue that's going on now does not affect your district, does it? I mean, everything's going to stay the same in the district that you're running in.
That's correct. I'm on the State Republican Executive Committee, and so I have some information regarding redistricting. Just for everyone's knowledge, this is Ron Paul's district, District 14. He's not seeking another term, so it's an open district. But they redistricted it to include Jefferson, Galveston, and the part of Brazoria County. That district is going to remain intact. It's not been the subject of the lawsuit that was filed to try to overturn the will of the people, that is the enactment of the legislature on redistricting. But so the borders of this district are sound and essentially secure. The only thing that the lawsuit's done to us is delay our date of the primary. It was scheduled for March 6th, but now it looks like it's going to be in May. But the boundaries are going to be set, and again, I'm a district resident. I live here, and so to answer your question, yes, although others may live outside of the district who are seeking the seat, I live in the district, and that's not going to change.
We've got about 1 minute, and I'm going to give it all to you, Mr. Truncale. It's your final word.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate this. Again, I'm a lifelong conservative. I've been a community leader, a church leader, a family man, a son of educators. I am a committed conservative, and I want to work for you because Washington is broken. This country's going down the wrong path. Government is too big, and it exercises too much control over our lives. And I want to run to represent the people of this congressional district. As a citizen taxpayer, I'm not a politician, and I hope to never become just another politician. I promise you, I will go to Washington, represent you, and come home and listen to you again. And I promise you, I'll never forget the people in my home district, the Congressional District 14.
You've just seen and heard from Michael Truncale of Beaumont, Texas, a Republican candidate for Congress in District 14. You can learn more about Mr. Truncale on his website, michaeltruncale.com. A link to his website will be right below this video. When you see it on the Police News website, all you have to do is click on it. You go right to his website, and there you will find out even how you can write him in the mail, how you can email him, how you can call him on the telephone, or whatever. Thank you again, Mr. Truncale. We appreciate the opportunity of visiting with you, and good luck to you in the forthcoming congressional election.